In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the vacuum pump serpentine belt on this GMC Yukon. This belt is located at the base of the motor underneath the other serpentine belts. Let's get into it. Before you dive into this job, you want to make sure you bring the vehicle to a local garage to have the AC refrigerant removed from the system. We're going to loosen up this worm clamp right here using an 8mm socket. At the throttle body, we're going to loosen up this worm clamp, same 8mm socket. Now we're going to pop these hoses off. Just push on the bottom, there's a release, slide that off. You're going to do the same on the other side. This side, it's on the top, just push it down, slide it off. Now just grab the snorkel, rock it a little bit, slide it off the throttle body. Now slide the tube off the airbox, and it slides right out. Now using a serpentine belt tool, you want to use a 1/2-inch drive, or you can use a ratchet. Take the tension off the belt. You can then slide it off the alternator. And you can loosen up the tensioner. Slide that off the tensioner. Slide it off the crank pulley and off the water pump. Now we're going to take off this stretch belt. The easiest way to do this is to cut it, but you want to make sure that you have the correct one and the right size. If you're not going to cut it, then we're going to take it off with either a screwdriver or a pry bar. Use a 24mm socket. Just get on the engine and just pry it off to the side as you turn the engine, and it will just pop off. There we go, that's loose. Slide it off the AC compressor. And there it is. Underneath the vehicle, we're going to take this shield off. Use a 10mm socket. There's 4 bolts we want to take off. Now we're going to take these 2 bolts off, use a 15mm socket. And take this panel down. We're going to take the belt off the vacuum pump, and you could cut this if you want to, or we're going to use the 24mm socket on the crank bolt. Just use a screwdriver. You can use a Phillips or a straight. Just get this started around here. Try to pry it down. And it's coming off. And just rotate it. I'm going to slide the belt over the pulley and over the crank pulley. Now take the belt. We're going to go over the crank pulley all the way to the back. And get this lined up right here. If it helps, you could take some wire ties and go around here. And they do make installers, stretch belt installers, but you don't need one. And just turn the belt, turn the crank. And there you go. That's all the way on. Make sure that's all the way around the pulley. Make sure it's on the crank pulley. That looks good. take the shield underneath and get the bolts started. All the smaller bolts as well. Now tighten these down. And all the small ones. Make sure they're all tight. Take the AC belt. I'm going to go around the crank pulley first on the back side, and go over the AC compressor. Get it close to the top where you want to be. Just hold it there. And we're going to rotate the engine again. Once it starts gripping, you just want to make sure it doesn't come off the AC compressor. Just be careful of your fingers. You don't want to get it stuck in between the belt and the pulley. And that's good. That's all around both pulleys. Now we're going to install the serpentine belt. This only goes on one way. You're going to start by putting it over the crank pulley down below. Then we're going to go around the tensioner pulley. You're going to have to go on the back side of the tensioner pulley. So you fold it to the side right here, like that. And then we're going to go around the water pump. With the belt like that. You should be able to almost get it to the alternator. Then you're going to need your tensioner tool. Take the tension off the tensioner. Then you can put the belt around the alternator. Then loosen up the tensioner and double check. Make sure it goes around all the pulleys correct. And you're all set. Looks good. Now slide the snorkel in place over the throttle body, over the airbox. Now we'll tighten those down. Tighten down the worm clamps. And push the hoses on. Lock it down. Do that to both sides. After you've done this job, you want to go back to that shop and have the refrigerant reinstalled in the vehicle.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.